So imagine you're making a big decision, moving to another country for a new job, and you're writing in your diary how you feel about leaving your family, maybe your partner, and what you think of your current boss. And now imagine a new law requires you to publish the detail of that thinking process. Maybe that feels a bit uncomfortable, so we'll introduce a loophole. You don't have to publish if it would damage your relationships or your job prospects. How many of you think you might take that loophole to avoid publishing and maybe think more carefully what you write down next time? These are questions that Australian public servants face every day. In 1982, the Freedom of Information, or FOI Act, created unprecedented rights of access to government information, yet government decisions often remain clouded in secrecy. So my research asks how and why is this the case? What are the legal loopholes, and why do public servants take them? So I started by making an FOI request myself. In fact, I asked the Attorney General for the thinking process behind current FOI law. And the answer I got was basically this. They started by saying that my request was too broad and they couldn't answer it, so I narrowed it. Then they charged me over $500 to look for the documents. So I appealed and I won. Then, after a process that was supposed to take 30 days and took well over a year, they told me it was against the public interest to give me access to this thinking process because it would harm their relationships with advisors. So, to understand how greater transparency can be against the public interest, I interviewed public servants. And what they said was this. Increasingly, they're expected to do more public good with less public money. And that FOI makes this harder in two ways. First, it chews through resources that are already scarce. And second, FOI requests are often politically motivated. They're not made to understand the decision-making process, they're made to derail it. So what do public servants do? They either use a legal loophole or they just don't write things down at all. So why does this matter? It matters because transparency is at the heart of our democracy. How can we know whether decisions are corrupt if we're not allowed to see how they're made? And how can we participate in government? It matters because this law is our strongest tool for getting this information, and my research shows it's not very strong at all. It offers a legal illusion of transparency, but if we want the real thing, we need to change the system so public servants don't take those loopholes. Thank you.